Ladies and gentlemen, please rise for our national anthem.
Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the Maryland Jockey Club at Laurel Park for a closing day edition of Today at the Races. I'm Dan Ullman along with Keith Fustel. Before we talk about what we've got on tap for our 10-race program on Sunday, let's reflect a little bit on a super DeFrancis Dash Day. 4 stakes races kick off in grand style. Reigning Maryland-bred Horse of the Year post time is now 9 for 9 at Laurel Park. Got it done in the deputed testimony.
A couple of anxious moments, and it started right out of the gate. A little rank through the head about leaving there, but Sheldon got post time to settle, and then when he was making that inside move, leaving the 5/16 pole to the quarter pole with the leaders right there about a half length apart, I'm like, uh-oh, what's he going to do? He stayed inside. Was lucky, worked outward a little bit, found that seam at the 8th pole, and just rolled home from there, really striding out nicely the last 16th of a mile, winning under a solid hand ride. Early buyer was a
290, 293, 94, in the mid-90s for post time, and maybe we'll see him next time out in the Charlestown Classic. An interesting test for him. $1 million purse, obviously, down at Charlestown. The Alma North Stakes. Nice to see St. Benedict's Prep get that well-deserved stakes win. She'd shipped down to Laurel Park twice before. She just missed in the What a Summer. She ran really well in the Fritchie. Johnny V gave her a Hall of Fame ride. Didn't break so great from the rail, but he got her to the outside, and once she was in the clear, she got very comfortable.
Yeah, she was able to level off. I expected her to be closer. I really, really did.
Johnny did too.
Yeah, and once the break happened, they adjusted beautifully, got into rhythm around the turn, and was able to get it done late. I thought the best performance, all in all, yesterday. Wolfie's Dynaghost.
Wolfie's Dynaghost.
Post time was very good. Don't get me wrong.
Wolfie's Dynaghost, second off of an extremely long layoff, breaking the course record in the Prince George's County Stakes. And Sheldon Russell gave this one a great ride. This horse looked like the only speed on paper. Went to the front. Went 24, 24, and then Sheldon threw a 23 and change at him on the turn, and that just had everybody off the bridle. But to the winner's credit, he just kept on firing in the stretch. 99 buyer speed figure for the veteran.
Just kept rolling through the gallop out. A beautiful ride, just nursed, released. I like to use that, the old nurse and release ride from Sheldon Russell. And, he just kept pouring it on. Big effort, off-time patience paid off for the connections.
And what can you say about the DeFrancis Dash? It was scratched down to a short field, but they put on quite a show. Subrogate didn't change leads in the stretch, and he still was able to just nip our hometown favorite, Celtic Contender.
Celtic Contender, a little stumble out of the gate, but really recovered, was sharp right out of the get-go, though, after the recovery. Set an honest pace inside. I thought he was gone, Dan. At the top of the stretch, I'm like, we got him. Took a late hit of money, too. I had him loaded at 5-1. I look up, he's 2-1. Just gets beat. Really good effort for the Hammy Smith trainee. Carmel Chip got in a little traffic when the winner was laying in just a little bit past the 16th pole. But all in all, Suburgate gets it done second off the bench.
Perfect way for Horacio Caramanos to celebrate his 50th birthday aboard Suburgate. He had 2 winners yesterday, but it's always forward in this game. Let's check out the weather conditions. It is a lovely day at Laurel Park. The main track is fast. The turf is firm. Post time is at 12:10, 87 degrees right now. It might get a little bit steamy later in the day, but all in all, some really nice things going on at Laurel Park. And since today is closing day of the summer meet, we've got mandatory payouts in any wager with carryover potential. Right now, there is a carryover, and a pretty significant one, in our Jackpot Super High 5. That is in race number 6. The carryover right now is over $42,000, and that race is as much of a skull buster as you're ever going to see.
We've got some strangers. There's no doubt about it in that particular race. I look for that handle to soar for the Super High 5.
We kick things off today with race number 1 going 5.5 furlongs on the turf. It's for 3 and up, which have never won 3 races or open 3-year-olds. Let's take out the 4, the 6, the 10, the 11. Tyaslia Pastina picks up the mount on the 12. Tick-Tock Daddy, that also eligible, draws into the body of the race. This is the first leg of our first of 2 value pick 5 wagers. Again, we call it the value pick 5 because it's the best value in racing. Take advantage of the low 12% takeout and maximize your earnings potential. Keith, you're going to try to do so with this ticket.
We're still playing around with that $930 we had a couple weeks ago, so we're going to hopefully send you off to this little break with some money. If we don't catch the pick 5, we're going to get some winners today. But this early value pick 5, it's a $27 ticket for me. 1 and 3 to get you started with Moncrief and Borletti. 2 deep in the second with a 2, 5, and 6. Race 3 deep as well. 3, 6, and 7. In this moment, Mopo was really good at Old Hilltop. Really good effort there. Race 4. Singling the 5, Drill Baby for Greg Compton, who's come down to Maryland recently and done quite well. I'm intrigued by a firster in there. It works smarter as well. If you can afford to throw that one in there, I would do so. We'll talk about the breeding and the family there for Work Smarter. Race 5 with the 3, 5, and 7 to complete this early value pick 5. Buzz Away, battling time. A little bit of a stranger for Niall Seville. I was a little surprised looking at some of the picks. Nobody had this one in there, but I think my man Piasek might have used this horse, but Korea as value.
We'll talk about that horse later. He's one of the more fascinating horses from a past performance standpoint coming into a race than we've seen in a very long time. Let's start with your top pick in race number 1. We have a video spotlight on the number 1, Moncrief.
Yeah, I thought Moncrief came back to the races really well. Off since November 13th, comes back this race in June the 6th and runs a big bang-up effort. Moncrief caught wide, 3 wide around the turn, into the flow, pressing. You're thinking, okay, he's going to fade a little bit. Needed this race. He's kind of moved in some quicker paces before. I tell you what, I love the way he kept charging. Upside down man's just going to be a little bit too good from the far outside to get it done. Borletti makes a run, but take nothing away from this effort. I think the move outside Dan to inside, that's one of my favorites. And with some of the speed coming out of here in Coronova and Great Kisser, maybe Moncrief goes right to the front. I don't think he has to. And you go back on some of the races on the page. Cactus, Claudie Boy, he's run against the right kind. Troy Robb got a winner second off of a break not too long ago. I like Moncrief 1-2 right there in the mix in the opener.
Although my top pick, Borletti, did finish ahead of Moncrief last time out, I think you could make the argument that Moncrief ran just as well for everything that you mentioned. Just look at those internal splits. He had to press that pace 3 wide through an opening quarter in 22:29, then got no breathers. Second quarter, 22:41, and he had the long stretch to deal with and the closers coming. All in all, in his first start off of a long layoff, I thought that was the perfect way to come back to the races, and you're right. With this horse's speed, he's either going to be in front or sitting in the pocket under Daniel Centeno turning for home. As for Borletti, he doesn't really win very often, but he sure is consistent. He's hit the board in his last 5 races. Last effort was a nice inside-out closers trip, as you saw. He finished ahead of several of these. If he gets a pace, he'll come running late.
Yeah, he's got that patented move. Sits back a little bit. I thought he was a little too close to it 2 races back. I think he might even be a little bit closer today turning from him than what he was last time. Yes, he's got that steady kind of run that you can trust. You're right. Doesn't win a lot, but He's very, very difficult to leave out the exacta try in super.
You've got Tick-Tock Daddy in the mix, drawing in from the also eligible list. This horse, whether it's dirt, whether it's turf, runs really well. Just didn't really think this horse got the right trip last time out. The break wasn't there, but this horse was firing in the stretch, building on the performance in the seasonal debut on turf. And what I like about Tick-Tock Daddy is when he does get out of the gate, he's pace adaptable. You can put Tyus wherever she wants to be.
I still think he's going to have to step up just a little bit off of these recent turf tries. Upside Down, man, the key, he's right there with him. So another one, I think he's got to step it up just a little bit if he's going to beat the likes of Moncrief and Borletti. But Maldonado's doing well. We've got the 5. After some of these scratches, we had to adjust. I did for sure. Elusive Image, really, really sharp internals last time out going long. I think turning back, this horse is going to work today.
No, turning back certainly works for him. And again, he's not a horse that really has to be 100 lengths out of it. So again, if he'll be placed, I'll think a little bit closer to the pace. Happy Jaunt to the number 8. I know he has not been good lately. He's getting blinkers today. He has several races last summer that make him competitive with this field, but he has no early speed. I'm hoping for a late run to pick up some pieces, maybe spice up your tries and supers.
This is a horse we've chased a little bit. It's some good numbers, waiting for him to come back to those back races. He hasn't yet. Maybe the blinkers give him a little bit of wake up, stay a little closer turning for home.
Same exact, a different order. Keith's going 1-3-12-5. I'm going 3-1-8-5 in race number 1. Race number 2 is on the main track. It's at 3/4 of a mile. It's a maiden special weight for 3-year-old fillies. It draws a field of 6. It is the first leg of our first of 3 50-cent pick 4 wagers. The pick 4s have been paying very, very well recently, and we're going to start things off with the number 6, Laura's Aura. This is a horse that raced once at Delaware, and I thought all in all it was a really good learning performance, Keith. She didn't break very well. She kind of rushed up on the inside to press the pace, wound up back in the pocket and took some dirt, a little bit tight in upper stretch. But all in all, I thought this horse can build off that performance.
A fourth-place finisher came back to win. That was a Gary Cap. But the couple moves that she made, I know Ned Allen's second out in the stats, they're not going to reach out and grab you, but she gained valuable experience in that race with a cleaner break from this outside post. She is forward most of the way, if not all the way, in race 2.
Another second-time starter is the number 2, Mama Vacoma, and this horse took a lot of money for her career debut, and she just had the misfortune to catch a muddy racetrack. We have a video spotlight for Mama Vacoma, and the break just wasn't there for her.
No, drawing the inside, a little bit of a duck in at Pimlico, muddy sealed surface. You can make a few excuses, and then down the backside, you're going to see some jostling going on, some
not
bumping.
Easy for a firster.
So this horse just kind of could have been fried a little bit. And if you notice, Mama Vacoma is wearing cheek pieces, a hood. So there's something going on upstairs that maybe, they're trying to work with and get her to settle. What I like, though, she drops back 5-6 lengths around the turn. Sneaky late run here, working outward into some traffic, outside of some traffic at the 3/16 right here. Gets in a little close. All right. But she's trying enough. And Camacho got the ride that day, and we've seen Camacho back in the day with post hunt, where the horse, might have had some antics, some things going on. Gaining that experience at Pimlico. We've got Sheldon. I think this horse with a cleaner break is also going to be forward.
Agree. I think this horse is going to show pace. It's interesting to see Brittany with the winkers, the cheek pieces with Mama Vacoma. You usually don't see that from this barn, but she does show a little bit of ability. She's got a winnerly pedigree.
Yeah, where she told me to go. Rominsky, some really, really fast horses in this family.
Let's talk a little bit about the number 5, that Sweet 443. You mentioned the trainer Greg Compton has been doing very, very well down in Maryland, and Sweet 443 was wired by the favorite going 2 turns over a sloppy track at Oaklawn last time out. I thought this horse ran okay, and the barn's had a couple of route to sprint winners since May 15th.
Best buyer figure was at Oaklawn sprinting. Off slow, traffic quarter, maybe at the slightest of pauses at the quarter. This horse, she was able to work outside and bring a little bit of a run, slight flattening late, but pretty good race. Pink Ruby came back to run an 80 next time out. The company lines are there. Greg Compton, the way these horses have been running down, he's got Drill Baby later, is going to be getting a lot of play. Yeah, I like Sweet 443 to sit back and make one run.
It was a big day for Mrs. Charles yesterday with post time. She has the number 1 Daring Delight, another homebred. This horse might be forward as well, moving turf to dirt. The last time she raced on dirt, she had to go very quickly in the early part of that race. She battled with 2 other pace foes, and just think, the top 2 finishers that day came from 5th and 7th. That pace took its toll on the leaders. Daring Delight might not have to work as fast to sit second or third here.
No, and Seaside Road has come out of there to run a couple okay races, so I'm giving that horse a little bit of a look underneath, not in my top 4, but I'm going to key around Laura Zara, Sweet 443. I think Mama Vacoma is going to get a play, a whole lot of value there, but I like the grit this 6 showed at Delaware. Multiple moves, tight, late, a little bit of a fade. Family that, it was, a 14-time winner, a 6-time winner. Give it another.
And I think she'll appreciate the clear breaking from the outside post after breaking from the rail last time. 6-2 for Keith, 6-5-1-4 for me in race number 2. Race number 3 is at 1 mile and 1 on the turf. It's for fillies and mares, 3-year-olds and up. It's a first allowance event. Take out the 2, take out the 4, take out the 5. It's the rematch between the 6 in this moment and the 7 Mopo. They faced each other once before. This moment got the better. We have a video spotlight.
Yeah, April the 25th over this turf course. And nice wake up. I mean, this horse, the 3-back try, Mopo, not that great. Stumbled at the start, a little excuse. Transferred to the turf. The internal fractions were brisk. And in this moment, definitely benefited. This was first in the barn for Brittany Russell. But take nothing away from Mopo's effort. I thought it was really good the way she held on in this moment. Big jump up on the barn change.
In this moment, got a very nice trip tracking in the pocket while Mopo set a very fast pace, 23.04, 23.15. No breathers from Mopo that day. I really like the way in this moment was striding out at the end, and she's tactical enough that in this moment can probably sit another good trip. And Brittany knows where to place these horses. Last out maiden winners, 11 for the last 23. That's 48%, a $3.08 ROI. So we saw Mopo run that race, and Phil Cap decided to bring Mopo back at Pimlico, and this horse just ran another remarkable race, cutting out the fractions again, past an upper stretch by a horse that came back to win at Monmouth by 7 lengths with an 83 buyer, and then roaring back on the inside to score.
Yeah, and I think I like her a little bit better here, maybe at a mile and an eighth compared to the mile, because I think she's going to be able to relax a little bit more. She's gaining that experience, moving in the right directions. I'm going to think she turns the tables today on in this moment. In this moment, a really, really short price. Mopo's not going to be that big of value, but I like her in here. I think Sneaky Horse is the 3. Coming here for Graham Motion, Royal Winter, showed promise back in the 3-year-old season. Some good races, a really good effort at Keeneland. Last time out at Laurel, I just never thought she got comfortable. She was caught in between horses a long, long way. Got that comment blocked upper stretch with a little bit of a late run. I think you're going to see a better version of Royal Winter. She'll be spying, I think, those 2 horses when they turn for home.
We have a trainer stand on the 10, Cha-Cha Tap, Milan Milosevic. Last time winners, 4 for the last 18, 22%, a $3.66 return on investment. Cha-Cha Tap came off of a pretty significant layoff to win last time, but it must be said, everything went right for her from a pace standpoint. They were blazing the trail early. Cha-Cha Tap was favored that day, and taking advantage of that race flow, Cha-Cha Tap took them down. So now this horse is really taking a step up from a condition claimer into a first-level allowance and may not get that trip. We do have the trainer stat, and it was nice to see her come back firing.
Oh, yeah. I'm going to go to the inside as well with the 1. Sun Cross. This is an interesting horse. Catholic Boy topside doesn't get me real excited for turf, only 8%. But the family does. They wanted to get to the turf with this filly back in October, couldn't do it. All she did was win by 11 and change. Comes back in an allowance, lagged wide, no rally, the comment. A little bit dull, has been off 224 days. Blinkers going on. Looking at the family, she's kin to Soraya, as she
nice horse.
4 for 8, 18, 12 for 18 on top of an 81 is 1 or 2 other than. The family is there, laid off and fresh. The new face could definitely pose a threat from off the pace.
So Mopo looks to make it 2 in a row. 7-3, 6-1 for Keith. 7-6, 10-9 for me in race number 3. Race number 4, 6 furlongs. It's a maiden special weight for 3-year-olds. It's a field of 7. It is the first leg of our middle pick 4 wager. 50-cent minimum wager on the pick 4. We're going to start things off with the number 5, Drill Baby. Even money on the morning line. Drill Baby. We have a video spotlight. This horse ran really well last time out after getting steadied back in the early stages.
This is a really troubled beginning. Opening 16th of a mile, bounced around, pinched and checked, and it gives up 6-7 lengths right off the bat. But Sanchez, to his credit, did a really good job of getting this guy to relax a little bit. He's going to go ahead and ramp up a run. Pediatrician, just too good that day. This was the Salazar runner. Sharp debut, not so good down that Churchill comes back and blitzes this field. But this horse makes a very big recovery. Long, sustained run, caught wide every step of the way. I think Drill Baby right back with a clean opening furlong. Let's just get out of the gate, can sit mid-pack and make a run. Faced a really good group at Pimlico, 2 races back going longer. I like this guy a little bit better sprinting.
He's been wired in his last 2 races, and I just think he's getting a significant class drop here. I think this pediatrician does have a good amount of talent, and he's very game, Drill Baby, after exerting all that energy with a mid-move on the turn to still get up for second. There's something here with this horse, and it just looks like perhaps he's found the right spot. Work Smarter is the first-time starter, though I think we should talk about. He's a foal to a very nice horse.
Yeah, he's a foal to play harder. This is a horse that won its debut, 4 of its first 5, and in that debut had some trouble and was able to beat 11 other rivals. Outwork 15% with the 3-year-old and up first-time starters. We saw the Rising Sun Racing Stable and at Eubanks first to get some play the other day. Didn't have the greatest of beginnings, showed a little flash and then faded. Work Smarter again, tabbed the toad. I think money's going to show on this one.
Veneto is the number 3. He's hit the board in 6 of 10 lifetime starts, and Veneto finished behind Drill Baby last time out. Maybe you could argue that track was speed favoring, but if you do, well, Drill Baby ran better. And Veneto just has this very bad habit of failing to change leads in the stretch.
He just hangs around on that left lead. 6 furlongs, maybe it'll sharpen up the run a little bit. I think he's going to need some pace help.
How about a nutty horse like the 4, Mancia's Way? This horse has only raced once before on a fast track, and look who he ran against that day. Verifier, who came back to win very easily at Pimlico, and just looks like a stakes horse in the making. 2 sloppy track races in a row. This horse was really pushing the pace last time out and just was tired at the end. J-Rod retains the mount for Oscar Mancia. This horse could be the speed of the race.
That's what I was wondering. This is another one of these tricky races to envision. How are things going to develop? If Work Smarter is right, and he has the speed of his brother, it could be lights out 1, 2, 3. But Mancia's Way is improving. A couple of excuses the last 2. I think even Mike's Magic could be a forward factor from the outside.
But we both agree that perhaps Drill Baby's found the right spot. 5-1-3-2 for Keith, 5-3-4-2 for me. Race number 5, a mile and a 16th on the turf. Fillies and Mares, 3 and up, which have started for a claiming price of $25,000 or less, and which have never won 2, or the non-winners of 2 claiming price $25 down to $20. Let's take out those MTOs. The 1 and the 2. Korea. We wanted to talk about this horse, the number 7. This, of course, is the first leg of our 20-cent Chesapeake Pick 6 jackpot wager. It's got to go. There's no jackpot here. We're paying it out on mandatory payout day, so get involved and pick those last 6 winners and cash out in our final Chesapeake Pick 6 of the summer meet. But getting back to Korea, the number 7, this horse's last 5 races came over the jumps overseas. The last time this horse ran on the flat was way back in November of 2023 in France, and guess what? He won. She won.
She wins. She's going, what, a mile and 9/16? So the stamina.
It's there.
It's there. And I was digging into the Racing Post this morning. I was looking at everything, trying to key up some horses. It's tough to get one by.
Not the Lord of Laurel.
But anyhow, you know what? It kind of grabbed me. 2 races back. I know it's Middleburg. I know it's over the hurdles. Beautiful Gorgeous is a horse that won on the flats at Colonial last summer. A 30,000 2 in life. So comparable horses, company lines. Niall Seville. Did we get that stat? I threw a couple late stats in. Last 2 years on the turf. And the conditional claimers, 3 for 7, 43% with an ROI of 494. I was just looking for a little stranger. And reading some of the comments, going back, way back, tracked. this horse, you look at, there's not a ton of speed. Maybe a horse like Intercups
That's
goes ahead
speed,
and goes. I know they were marathon races. Might be forward enough. We shall see. Again, tab the tote. See what kind of money shows up on Korea early.
The 8 Incisive Kitten is where I'm going to go. We have a trainer stat from Michael Trombetta, who only has 3 runners in this race, and the stat applies to all 3 of Trombetta's runners. Incisive Kitten, It's Satisfactual, the 11, Scholar, the 12. This barn between June 15th and June 22nd on the turf was going very well. 43%, a $4.46 return on investment. Incisive Kitten's making her second start after a 232-day layoff, and I just think she might have been a little bit short last time out. She sort of settled at the back of the pack. She swung widest into the stretch, and she was grinding on, more of in a one-paced manner, but it was nice to see her pass some horses late. I think with that race under her girth, she can take a nice step forward for Country Life Farm.
Yeah, I think she definitely works. Of all the Trombies, I might like her the best. Video spotlight time for the 3.
Oh, what a trip this
was. Let's catch the start. I'll let you take it, Dan.
Gets bumped just right, hopped at the start, and is off 2 lengths slow. Just look at the hop.
Yeah,
Bang. So the next thing you know, not only does she break from an outside post, she's breaking 2 lengths slow in a race where they run a half mile in 49 3. She's going to be 10 lengths back on the backstretch in a race where there isn't a lot of pace. If you think that's the worst thing that happened to Buzzaway, well, it certainly wasn't. She's last turning for home, and now JG's just looking for somewhere to run. Doesn't want to go wide just yet. Going to look to try to split some horses. Now maybe there's the spot inside of the 8. It's not there just yet. It's not there just yet. It's not there. There it is. Now she changes and splits horses, and she is flying at the finish. You can argue that if she doesn't break slow in this race and she doesn't have to wait at the 3/16 pole, she wins. And Horacio De Paz doing well since June 13th, 3 for 10 between the 13th and the 22nd. So lots of things to like about Buzzaway, and if she doesn't break like that, she'll be a little closer.
That was a charge to the wire after that brutal beginning. Tori, I was still very patient, sitting chilly there till about, the quarter pole, then found that seam. And if we see internals go up of 23, 47 flat, 12, watch out. Buzzaway just might blow right on by. Battling Time interests me. This 5-horse. Out of your mix, maybe I'll talk you into using her a little bit. Hasn't been seen since March of 24. In for the tag, dropping for Brittany Russell. Showed a little glimmer of talent. Now we're going to get to the turf course. First time on the turf. Working forwardly. The family is there.
Yes.
Call me plucky. The mare was good. 3 for 13 on the turf, 7 for 13 in the money with a top of 87. I can see her fairly forward against this group. Fresh, ready to roll for Brittany Russell. Attack mode in for the tag.
It's Satisfactual is another one for Trombi, and this horse called a wet turf course at Delaware, and I just don't think she really cared for it. She was 3 wide going into the first turn. She wound up down on the rail. She did not factor against the top 3, but if you look at some of her firm turf races down at Gulfstream Park, they're competitive with ease. She's going to get firm turf here. Demands a little bit of value, though. I have her at 3-1 on the morning line. Nice race this is. Lots of ways to go, and you're hoping for a price. Korea's a German bred. 7-5-3-8. I'm going 8-11, 3 and 10. 5 down, 5 to go on our closing day Sunday card at Laurel. We'll be back in a moment with the late pick 5. Welcome back to a Sunday edition of Today at the Races. I'm Dan. He's Keith. It's closing day. Race number 6 not only starts off the Super High 5, we'll get to that in a minute. It's a 5.5 furlong race on the turf. 16,000 down to 14. Maiden claimer for fillies and mares. Take out the AEs. 13 through 15. The most important thing for a lot of players today is that this race is the $1 minimum jackpot Super High 5. And yes, that is correct. Mandatory payout. And look at the carryover, 42,329. You're going to have to be real sharp, though, to take this down, because I'm not sure I can pick one let alone 5. But I'm still getting involved in this bet.
Oh, it's got to be. Let's hope we can get a couple 100,000 in this thing. Targeting it's got to go. You're right, and I go stranger. This is a race. I don't know. I really don't know how to attack it. Hopefully, Vinny comes in and he's got the briefcase full of money, and he can kind of lead us in the right direction. But this also kicks off the late pick 5, the early and late value pick 5 that we have each and every day here at Laurel Park. 12% takeout. Who's got the ticket today? Mac Attack. $54.
Oh, it's closing day.
Yeah, you got to go. You got to get it. 2-6-12. Marmara T. Rose. Last session, that's going to get you started in this late value pick 5. Race 7 with the 1, the 3, and the 8. The 8th, 2 deep. Patinga's Twin and Haley's First Notion, the 4 and the 5. Haley's First Notion, man, really good racehorse. Race 9 with the 5, 6, and 9. A couple of scratches in the 9th. Key scratch in 2 and the 8. Key scratches, I should say, in race 9. We're going to close this out. Close this summer meet out with the 4 and the 5. Autumn in Vermont, Bucking Right. $54 late value pick 5. That's good structure. Add to it. You're going to want to. It's a mandatory payout.
And you're starting out with a stranger. The number 8, Music on the Rocks, raced once last year, didn't particularly fare very well, was claimed by Mike Giralis, has been away for over a year, and now returns on turf. We've seen some of these horses race on turf before. They're not the most inspiring runners in the world. Giralis does a really good work. And Music on the Rocks, I won't be surprised if she comes back firing.
Yeah, these are the connections that you know I respect. They're sharp. And I'm just guessing. This horse went out for connections I wasn't really familiar with. And you looked at the breeding, Church Music on the bottom. I think the horse had like 3 or 4 races going over 3 miles. It was bizarre that the money showed like this. So where's this horse been? Where has she been? It's been forever. They've been patient. If I'm thinking Lapidus, I'm thinking a little bit turf, possibly the angle. Just taking a shot here. Must have had some kind of ability on the go back. Wait and see approach. I've got to bet a couple bucks to win the place on this one.
I'll go with the 10, Pabst Little Patriot. I didn't think this horse had a great trip. 2 starts back at Pimlico. She was very, very rank and eager in the early stages of that race. She pulled so hard, and then the next thing you know, she's really wide on the backstretch. And Toledo was getting his shoulders pulled out of his sockets trying to hold Pabst Little Patriot. And finally, this horse was still running a little bit at the end without much urging. I bet this horse last time out. She has a very underrated break. She usually breaks first or second out of the gate. She broke well. She ended up in stalking position. She got wired by the favorite, a sharp horse, Clear Court. She fits here. I want to see her be somewhat aggressive. I think the 7, Grosse Ile, has speed. Pabst Little Patriot, I want to see this horse second or third.
I think she can be. I think she kind of be forward enough. There was a lot going on behind the pace of Holy Brick in that race with Hot Boss last time out. Some of these horses might go ahead and step up and improve a little bit, but I think you're right. I think Pabst Little Patriot, with that position, it gets any kind of contested pace, will bring a better run, a better finish as well against this group.
Holy Brick will be part of this pace. She finished ahead of 5 of these horses last time out. Not only that, it was a key race. 2 horses came out of that race to win. The 8th place horse winning for a 12-5 tag with a 53 buyer. She might have moved just a smidge early into the long stretch, and she was run down at the end, but certainly was an improvement off her dirt races.
This was your top selection that day, one of the greatest picks of the year. A brutal beat at 34-1. But Holy Brick, looking back at it and again at this field, the true speed could be Holy Brick. Grosse Ile again. We'll see if Grosse Ile can stretch it a little bit further. If Holy Brick doesn't apply that earlier pressure, that horse could stay around a little bit longer. Robbie Bales with a winner yesterday, going along on the turf, tries to get it done sprinting here. Marmara, trouble trip last time. You mentioned a horse.
I want to talk about 2 horses that might be able to benefit from off the pace.
Okay.
One is Feather Wish for Damon.
Right.
We haven't seen this horse in 253 days, but if the pace is hot between the 7 and the 11 again, I think it gets set up for Feather Wish, who's run some good turf races, and the 9, Need a Miracle. I was kind of, when we first handicapped this race, I said, well, I really want a stranger. Holy Boss is the sire of Holy Brick, who first turfed improved. Need a Miracle needs a lot of improvement, but she's at least by Holy Boss.
Yeah.
And the Bobby Leaf barn's been waking up lately with some good horses. Maybe Need a Miracle, the 9, is the horse that spices up the whole super high five.
I think we might need a miracle to hit this jackpot super high five. I like anything kind of off the wall here works for me. I guess if I had to trust anybody, if you're saying, okay, who are you going to bet win, play, show, I'd say Holy Brick again, just proven off of that last race. But how can you go back at the shorter price this horse is going to be when you missed it at 34, 35 to 1 last time? What a horse race. Race 6 for your jackpot super high five. We hope you get involved and get involved heavily.
Mandatory payout today. 8, 10, 11, and 2 for Keith, 10, 11, 3, and 9 for me. Race number 7, 7 furlongs on the dirt, fillies and mares, 3 and up. It's a first level allowance. Take out the 2, skip through Duff Fire. This is the first leg of our final pick 4 wager of the afternoon, 50-cent minimum play. Let's start things off with Fabia, the number 6 for Hammy Smith. This horse made her debut for the 16 tag, and Hammy might have gotten away with something because I liked how Victor Carrasco rode her that day. It didn't look like anyone really wanted to go, so Victor's like, I'm going to go. Made the lead, made the rail, shrugged off 2 pace horses, and then extended in the stretch. We have a trainer stat for Hammy on the number 6, Fabia. Past 5 years on the dirt, 22%, 40-48 ROI when moving from claimers to allowance. This is one of your favorites.
Yeah, I like this move. And Fabia, against the grain of the racetrack, I thought June 1st played to an outer flow. This one showed a little bit more early get up and go that I usually see with some of these Hammy's firsters. I like the family. We talked about that. This is a horse I saw down at Ellery, I believe, prepping a couple years ago. Yeah, so, or 2 years, last year, I should say. She's definitely stepping up. She's going to have to pick it up a little bit against this group. There's a couple interesting horses. I'm going to give one more shot to the 5, Red Hat Hannah. I got to think she's better than what she was last time. Got involved in an okay flow. I don't think it was any kind of a suicidal pace. She just stopped on a dime, was protected late. Cal Lynch, South Sinatra teamed up with a win with this one right out of the box at Timonium last year. She's run some bigger races. I think 7/8 is a good distance for her. If she can kind of go free running and clear early, maybe she catches a breather around the turn.
I think she's faster than Fabia. I think she's going to make the lead. And to me, the most fascinating thing was that Villalobos had his choice on the overnight between 2 horses, Red Hot Hannah and Shakara Fire. And Shakara Fire is a stakes horse against Maryland Reds. And Villalobos is going to go with Red Hot Hannah, who might be a better price. Interesting pace play. Red Hot Hannah can certainly rebound. How about Dazzy down towards the inside, the number 1?
Yeah, she's just pretty much steady. You can kind of depend on her. Called a sloppy sealed racetrack last time out with Paco at Monmouth. But I like the company lines. Cluck, cluck. Take the money, honey. I see that race there. Only beaten a couple lengths. Had some trouble. Had to work outward after a slower beginning. She's got the right kind of chasing, grinding style. She just knocks on the door a lot. She might just bust through today.
You have a Jamie Ness train entrant for 2nd, so do I. Only mine's the 7, Rousey Express, a horse that likes to finish 2nd or 3rd. She was kind of forced out a little bit, turning for home, had to alter course inside to split horses and flattened out going a mile. I'm curious to see how she does at 7 furlongs because she has won going route to sprint in the past. I think for her, though, it's all about a setup, whether she gets the right pace flow.
Agreed. Bella
the Bluegrass.
Yeah, the 8. Let's go right to the stat. This horse got a kind of a tricky run in between horses at Delaware. First off the claim, this 4-year-old midshipman filly, we're saying, trainer Anthony Ferrier, the last 2 years. 3 for 8 with the fillies and mares, 2nd off the claim on the Laurel dirt. Ladies man, I guess. 578 for Tony Ferrier. Bella the Bluegrass has enough speed, I think, to be tracking and might put a little bit too much pressure on Red Hat Hannah. I'm going to need my horse to clear, but I like that stat. 2nd off the claim. Freer run outside today, called in between a long way last time.
Yeah, I can see her sitting in a very comfortable spot in 3rd, outside, clear of traffic, ready to move when the field turns into the long stretch.
Of course, she beat 2 races back and blitzed at Keeneland, came back to run a really good number of mid-70s in an allowance in Horseshoe Indy.
5, 1, 8, and 6 for Keith. 6, 7, 3, and 1 for me in race number 7. Race number 8's our feature race on closing day. We're going 3/4 of a mile. It's for 3 and up, which have never won 3, with plenty of conditions involved in this allowance. And the claiming price is 55 down to 44. It stays intact with a field of 7. We're going to start things off with your favorite. We're going to try to beat her, but she's going to be real tough to beat, and she is the horse to beat, and that's Haley's First Notion. We have a video spotlight for Haley's First Notion and Patinga's Twin and Radical Right.
Yeah, these 3 exit the race on June the 6th. They all 3, I thought, ran well. Maybe Haley's First Notion, all in all, ran the best race. Up involved with that pace, 22 and 446, duking it out on the front end. This is our horse I think we had on the mark this day in an okay number. But Haley's First Notion, dead game to the wire, hung wide. Patinga's Twin just couldn't quite get there late, but churned on. Radical Right, though, sneaky price play for you.
Yes, Radical Right, you see the number 1 in between horses. You're a little bit fractious in the gate before this race, then wound up in the pocket, split some lates, just going to hold off Patinga's Twin for third money. Haley's First Notion, you're right, though, had to work very hard on the lead. Gary Camp doing well between June 12th and June 22nd, 5 for 11 with a 416 ROI. Does the presence of Arden's Lucky to Be concern you regarding Haley's First Notion?
That's exactly what I was going to say. Is this the X factor? Is this the horse that gets really turn this thing into a mess early on? He's fast. He's really fast if he breaks. Haley's First Notion doesn't like to be too far back. He's going to have to go into a flow. And Arden's Lucky to Be's a horse. When he stretches speed, he can take it. He can take it a while. He'll land a little bit of a pressure as well. I think the race sets up beautifully for a horse like your price, Radical Right, who I should have had underneath, but factor it in is going to be my top selection. The 9-year-old. Love this guy yet. Don't be deceived, by this number 75 at Penn National last time out the bye. Rominski was in there. Sheriff Ronnie. Good salty field. Inside out trip. I think he's going to get it again, proven over this racetrack. I think he can bounce back up to a better buyer speed figure. He's got some lengths to make up against that 2-back try against Haley's First Notion, but I think he can. When he's right, he can power on by late. There is a slew of speed signed on here. Bouncer's got to be close. Karen's Notion, when he's right, can get into the flow in his 22, 45, and change kind of deals. You're right. You like the 1 off the pace. I like the 2 off the pace.
Yeah, the 2 got a nice confidence builder. It was a tough field at Penn National. That was a good horse that he beat last time out in Rominski, and he's got a ton of back class. Radical Right's just been running fast races recently. For Ferris Allen, we have a trainer stat for Ferris Allen. This program's been going well. June 7th, June 21st, 3 for 13. 23%, 266 ROI. And again, I think Radical Right has run some steady races while being close to the pace. If the pace is kind of electric, maybe he sits back and makes one run. Patinga's Twin's in here. You could argue he might be the best closer. You might argue he might have the most upside of any in this field because he's relatively lightly raced compared to the others. Here's an Anthony Farrier trainer stat for Patinga's Twin between June 9th, June 26th, 40% winners, a 209 ROI. Maybe this is the closer to benefit if the pace is hot.
Big, good-looking horse, and I think he benefited last time. He got a lot of seasoning off that try, caught 3 deep, dropped back a little bit. You saw him in that video. He was willing. He was coming back steadily at the end. Comes back with a work, too, a recent work, very sharp, 58 and a tick. That's rolling. Ready to roll Patinga's Twin. He could draft in and definitely maybe make the first run in front of our horses like Radical Right and factor it in.
2547 for Keith, 1547 for me. Haley's First Notion, the 5 is the horse to beat. We're taking slight stabs against. Race number 9, 5.5 furlongs on the turf. First level allowance for fillies and mares, $49,000 the purse. Take out the 2 morning line favorites, the 9 Salty Senorita, the 2 Bougie Bubbles. This will change the odds drastically on many of these horses. The 6 Watch Me Disappear is your top selection in this race, Keith, and Watch Me Disappear is pretty quick out of the gate when she wants to be.
Bobby Leaf. There we've got it again and got back to a better race. I chased this horse at 36-1, 2 races back. Didn't really run a step, but last time with Matilda Burnham was up with the flow, 22-3, 45 and some change. Just a little bit of a fade late. Shino Moon came back to win clear. I'm looking at this field right now. Bougie Bubbles I think was going to be forward, but I still don't think she had the speed of Watch Me Disappear. And if she sneaks away into the turn and clears, Bobby Leaf might just get back to the winner's circle.
I think these scratches hurt me a little bit. I like the 9 Sweeter Than Whiskey, but she's really a confirmed one-run closer, isn't she? She came back off a 6-month layoff, and she outperformed expectations, running second at 16-1. She didn't break very well. She was sort of lagging behind inside. She tried to ease outside in the stretch, and she kind of swapped leads a couple of times, but she found traffic trouble in that race. I'd like to see breaking from the outside, Jean Briseno just kind of get her into a rhythm, swing out, and then hope she has enough pace to kick at.
Maybe steps up against a little bit better group than what she faced last time. That was first time Kieran with Wonder Girl, but you go back on the page. She wins the state bred other than so she fits certainly here, and that traffic did cost her last time out.
Lily Simone also had a lot of traffic last time out, and Jose Barnes been doing very, very well, but like Sweeter Than Whiskey, this is a one-run closer dependent on pace help. She was down on the inside. She was blocked and checked down on the inside, had to switch leads a couple of times, never really got true clearance. I think Lily Simone, the 5, ran a lot better than it looks in this race. I just wish she had tactical. I got to go way back to find her last win.
Yeah, and she's going to get the help. I'm not sure. Maybe Rapido Rosa goes a little bit early. Air 1, sharp try, goes. You look at some of the company lines, Carolina Christina. This is an interesting horse, the 4 for Keith Dickey. But I'm hoping, Watch Me Disappear. She's got some quicks, and she showed some fight last. I think she can hang around a long way here in the 9th at a good number.
And carried the turf well yesterday, we saw, and that might work for Watch Me Disappear. 6.954 for Keith, 9.651 for me in race number 9. Race number 10 is the Swan Song for the summer meet. It is at 6 furlongs. It is a maiden 16 down to 12.5. Maryland breds eligible for the $20,000 claiming option. Out the 1 Sevens Magic, the 2 Anita. Leaves us with a field of 5, Keith. Let's start things off with your top selection, the number 5, Buck Right. And this is a horse that has run some really competitive races in her first two. And last time out, she just didn't look very comfortable.
No, not at all. And gave up, pretty much mid-turn. It was all she wrote. She's no Uncle Mopo. Are there. Double Arrow in debut showed that sharp speed, 22, 46, and 4, a little bit of a fade, but still clear of the rest. Freshened up, dropped, maybe tweaked a couple things with this filly. Kin to a really good horse, Kissed by an Angel. I think she's the speed of the speed. I would have liked to seen this race at 5.5, but guess what? It's not. I might be gasping. I'm going to try to hold to the wire.
I think Ty fits this horse very, very well, and I think she's going to get this horse out to the front. I think she's going to be fresh off of the layoff. I think a fast track works for her, and I do agree with you. I think she was crying out the layoff. She was on a right lead early on the turn last time out. I think this freshening works for the 5, who showed ability 2 and 3 starts back. One more chance for me on the 6. Another Hope, who's going to be making her 10th trip to the post. The board in 5 of 9 starts. Maybe the mile against Fabia, who we'll see earlier today, was a bit too much. It looked like she really turned up the heat on Fabia on the turn, and she was rebuffed. I like her at the shorter distance. I think she sits just off your horse.
That might have got her just right to stalk and pounce against this group. Another horse we got a little bit of a stat, I believe, for Autumn in Vermont. Carla shortening up. Some issues last time. Fractious pre-race. Wide run, just didn't quite kick it in. But if things get hot and heavy, last 3 years on the dirt, Carlos Mencia runners 3 for 7, 43%, 5 for 7 of the money. Maiden claimers route to sprint with an ROI. It's positive 257. She's looking for some help up front. She just might get it.
And this horse did run well, route to sprint, 3 starts back, just missing when finishing second for the 12.5 level. 5.467 for Keith, 6.457 for me. In the finale, best play time on closing day. Where are you going?
Value play, my old buddy, and he is treated me well over the years. We're going back to the 8th race again. We got it with Brother Conway, right? We're going to try to get back with a 2. Factor it in from the Mancia barn, 8-1 on the morning line. I just see so much speed signed on. Confidence back after that trip last time at Penn National. Proven over this racetrack. Inside-out trip, gets it done at a number.
I'm always looking for a little bit of speed for my value play, and I think race number 3, the number 7, Mopo, is going to be out there on the lead, is going to have to keep in form to beat a good field, but I think 5-2 would be fair on Mopo, who has just looked strong in his last 2 turf outings. 23 minutes to post for race number 1 on a closing day Sunday at Laurel Park. The main track is fast. The turf is firm. Callie Francois, Mackenzie Pfeiffer, Dave Rodman will take you through the 10-race program. Let's go up to Dave Rodman for scratches and changes.
Good luck.
Good morning, everyone, and welcome to Laurel Park. Main track fast and the turf is firm. 10 races to close the Laurel Summer Meet, and here's a look at your Laurel Park changes. First race, scratch the 4, Coronova. Scratch 6, Rapidity. Scratch 10, Great Kisser. Scratch 11, Artillery Gunner. The 12 will run TikTok Daddy with Thais Lapustina aboard. Thais Lapustina on the 12, TikTok Daddy. Second race, no changes. Third race, scratch 2, Crone. Scratch 4, Magic in the Park. Scratch 5, Dead Sexy. Third race. No changes in the fourth. In the fifth race, scratch 1, Rasta Girl. Scratch 2, Estacada. 1 and 2 out of the fifth race. Sixth race, number 2, Marmara is 2 over. 4, Lilinda 1 over. 5, Just My Type 2 over. 10, Pap's Little Patriot is 1 over. Scratch 13, 14, 15, Fanny Dancing on Our Own, and Hail No. Seventh race, scratch number 2, Skip Through the Fire. Number 3, Scarafire, 1 over. The 6, Fabia, 1 over. No changes in the 8th race. 9th race, scratch number 2, Bougie Bubbles. 2, Bougie Bubbles. Scratch. 7, Force Civilaz, 1 over. And scratch the 8, Salty Senorita. 10th race. Scratch 1, Seven's Magic. Scratch the 2, Anita Beer. From race 10. Following the 10th race, 2 races simulcast from Gouveia, Brazil. 20 minutes to post time for payouts on all carryovers today. 6th race, jackpot high five carryover, $42,329. Chesapeake Pick 6 starts in the 5th race. Early and late value pick 5s, both of that 12% takeout. Early pick 5 starts at the opener, 19 minutes away, fast and firm. Good luck this afternoon at Laurel Park.
Welcome to, of course, the last day of summer racing here at Laurel Park. And while we had a bomb day yesterday, wonderful racing yesterday, we have a wonderful card going on today.
We do, and mandatory payouts, so everyone's ready to go ahead and jump right in here. Plenty of opportunity on the whole card.
Let's get started with that first leg of the mandatory payout of that low takeout early value pick 5. Last chance, guys, here for quite a while. The master of the early value pick 5, Keith Fusel, goes in 2 deep with the 1 and the 3. The number 1 Moncrief being his top selection there. 3 deep in race number 2. He goes with the number 6 Laura's Aura there in the barn of Ned Allard. Jamie